Hello, my name is Aidan Lepore. This is CTI140, the semester project, and we are going to be upgrading a corporate OS for Tatos Incorporated. So, the scenario. Tatos Incorporated is a processing facility which turns potatoes into delicious goods. Their current corporate setup includes an administrative department with 26 Optiplex all-in-one desktops, 10 Latitude laptops totaling 32 employees. The finance department has 56 Optiplex all-in-ones, 10 Latitude laptops, totaling 56 employees. Sales has 25 Lenovo ThinkCentre all-in-ones, 10 Dell Latitude laptops, totaling 30 employees. The main processing facility has 120 Optiplex desktops, totaling 260 employees. Shipping and receiving has 14 Optiplex workstations, 12 Toshiba laptops, totaling 42 employees. Research and development has 5 HP Envies and 5 Lenovo Y40 laptops, totaling 5 employees. Facilities and maintenance has 10 Optiplex workstations, 10 Latitude laptops, totaling 26 employees. And finally, IT support. They have 8 Precision Tower workstations and 8 Latitude laptops, totaling 8 employees. So we can see in this setup it's mostly Optiplex, Lenovo, and some Toshiba and HP. So why are we upgrading these systems and which operating system is best in this situation? So first we'll talk about why we're upgrading these systems. So to start off, our IT director and our shareholders want to save money. And it's rumored that Windows 11 Enterprise is going to follow a subscription model. So this is mostly a cost-cutting measure. So Microsoft Windows 10 may also cause some issues for the company. After October of 2025, Windows 10 is going to stop receiving security patches, which will leave systems vulnerable to more exploits, and this also increases the risk of cyber attacks. Compliance issues and industry regulations may also come up if sensitive data is stored in an unsecure environment. Newer software and hardware may not be compatible with the old operating systems, and it's an increased cost if anything happens because they'll have to rely on their IT team or on a third party team. You can't get support from Microsoft themselves anymore. So, which operating system should we choose? Well, some of them include Syllable, React OS, and Ubuntu. There are many free to use and open source operating systems we can use. Syllable is open source, lightweight, and is built using parts from the GNU project and Linux. React OS is also open source. However, it is a Windows re-implementation, meaning it will be compatible with all Windows applications and drivers. It is its own operating system though. It's not Linux, it's not Mac, and it's not Windows. Ubuntu is a Linux distribution. It's lightweight, open source, and reliable. It also has a graphical user interface, allowing it to feel like any regular desktop. So, when upgrading this organization setup, I would choose Ubuntu, specifically the 22.04 version. And while Syllable and React are great operating systems, there are two issues that made me choose otherwise. React OS, while being very similar to Windows, is still in alpha and is still working on becoming capable with Windows Server 2003, meaning it has a long way to go. Syllable is more updated. However, since it's a smaller operating system, there are only a handful of developers working on it, so security patches, updates, things like that may take a little bit longer to come out. So Ubuntu is probably the best choice because it's lightweight, it's open source, free to use, and is compatible with all hardware. It can even communicate with Windows Server 19 through Windows Subsystem for Linux, otherwise known as WSL. So what's the advantage of using Ubuntu? Well, you can see here there's cost savings, productivity, ease of use, and administration. For cost savings, Ubuntu is free and open source, which eliminates any operating system licensing, which can add up quickly, especially when your organization has a lot of machines. Ubuntu also offers a variety of applications, one specifically being LibreOffice, These applications are free to use and they're alternatives of Windows software, like Microsoft Word, for example, making it lower software costs. It's also hardware efficient. Ubuntu is less resource intensive than Windows, which in turn allows it to run smoothly on older hardware, and less degradation on newer machines, meaning that they can last a lot longer. Overall, it has lower initial and maintenance costs compared to Windows. Ubuntu is also stable, which means for minimal downtime, which is always beneficial to an organization. And on top of all of this, Ubuntu does offer more customization for their users than Windows 10 does. It's easy to use, install applications, and customize to your workflow. Also, as these distributions become more popular and they grow, support and help becomes easier and easier to find. In an administrative setting, Ubuntu may also be ideal because it allows for centralized management, which is helpful in organizations with a large amount of workstations. Package management on Ubuntu is also simple. Advanced Package Tool, or apt, APT, makes application installation, updates, and removal simple. Automation can also be set up for repetitive tasks, leading to less user error, and server integration is seamless. Along with this, Ubuntu also has regular security updates to help fight against threats. So now let's take a look at Ubuntu, specifically remember version 22.04. I've set up this machine to replicate how it would exactly look and run in this environment, so I'll switch it over right now. Okay, here I'm going to give it a login. I just have my username and password set as Ubuntu and Ubuntu, but in a real work environment, this would be slightly different. Okay, now that we're in, you can see we have a couple things here. We have on the left side our taskbar. This has our favorites and it has some applications that we have. On the right side, we have here a home folder. And on the bottom left here, we'll have a show applications, which will show us all the apps that we have installed on the machine. So let's take a look at the applications. We're going to start with an app called LibreOffice Writer. Now, LibreOffice Writer is an app that comes pre-installed, and it's basically an alternative to Microsoft Word. It has all the same features, and it even looks similar while being free. Just like Writer, Libre also has other alternatives to paid Microsoft apps, such as Calc, which is similar to Excel. So here you could see LibreOffice Writer. Looks very similar. You can open files, the exact same as Windows. This one says Hello World. And Libre also comes with LibreOffice Calc, which when opened looks exactly like Microsoft Excel. Okay, so let's take a look at other applications that don't come pre-installed but would be useful in this organization. First, we're going to take a look at Romina. Romina is a remote desktop client, which allows you to add machines to it, remotely connect, and control them. It supports multiple protocols such as RDP, Remote Desktop Protocol, VNC, Virtual Network Computing, and SSH. It also has a friendly UI. Now, Romina can be useful in many corporate scenarios, such as remote work, because it allows users to connect their work computer from home. And for IT, it's helpful for remote technical support and administration, allowing them to monitor and watch workstations and servers in a central environment. Okay, so next we're going to take a look at GNU Cache. GNU Cache is an app that's open source and it's for financial accounting. Now, this would be a useful app for the finance and the sales department because it allows for double entry accounting, invoicing, and payroll management. On top of that, it also allows you to track accounts, stocks, income, expenses, and make graphs based off the information that allows users to easily analyze their data. Now, this all sounds great, but of course in any system there's going to be a chance of hangups or issues that could be run into. Some of these could be hardware or software compatibility. So for example, if an application that Tatos already uses is not capable with Linux, or Using LibreOffice documents and sharing them with Microsoft users may cause issues as well. Drivers may not always be compatible, and databases could have errors when viewing or editing data. Employees also have to learn new programs and softwares. Some may be resistant to change, some may need training, which is always time consuming and costly. Also, configuring the network could be complex, so for file sharing and printer services between Ubuntu and a Windows server could be tricky. Making sure all email services work and making sure data transfer is not impeded is very important. Then, along with this, security is also extremely important. Now, even though these systems are less susceptible to viruses compared to Windows 10, it's still important to configure firewalls, antivirus software, and to educate the users or your employees of the system and about potential threats that may occur. So, about downtime, having none or minimal downtime is always important. Downtime can cost a company money, and having a proper plan and a channel to migrate data is extremely, extremely important. And this is also why checkpoints are needed, just in case anything happens and you need to perform a rollback or go back to the previous state of the machine. You also want to make sure that the IT staff understands the operating system so that they can also aid in any potential issues. Finally, but most importantly, poor planning, lack of testing, this all can lead to unexpected delays. So it's very important to take this all into consideration when thinking about upgrading. So the question really is, how should we go about an upgrade? So here I created a timeline of events. So we would like to have all of these machines rolled out and in use in roughly 6 months. So for the plan I created, I split it mainly into 3 different sections. They were going to be testing, training, and then rollout. So in our testing section, which is weeks 0 to 8, we'll create a plan, devise different implementation strategies, such as 3-phase mitigation, migrating data to a new system, parallelly running them and updating them, and once confirmed, we'll archive the old system. During this time, we also need to consider all hardware. We need to make sure that the operating system is compatible with all of the devices in the organization. Now, we can also use a pilot program, which is just a smaller app, and implement them into smaller departments, more as a test to ensure that it's capable, and then we can also receive some feedback about the new operating system. Weeks 8 through 16, so this will be the training period. We'll start by training the IT team and then moving on to administration. This is important because you want the IT team and the administration to understand the new software first, as they'll be able to help everybody out. Once completed, we'll move on to smaller departments, training them, and introducing them to the new OS. During this time, we can continue to see if there are any problems that arise from this system. So in weeks 16 to 24, this is going to be the rollout period. So in these final weeks, we will start to roll out the new machines. We will begin with the IT and administrative department. Then we will start with the largest department and work our way to the smaller ones, taking our time and ensuring that all systems are properly communicating with each other and are running. Now we want to start with the largest department because this will be the most amount of data to transfer and to ensure and people to train. And then as we work our ways down to the smaller departments, my theory behind it is that there'll be more people to help out and to understand the new system. So to summarize, Ubuntu offers many of the same services as Windows and has alternative to many paid programs. It isn't resource heavy, it'll work on all types of machines, and it can extend the lives of those or future machines because it doesn't degrade parts as quick. It is free to use, open source, frequently gets updated, and has a great amount of support and help online. Here is my list of resources for researching and figuring out which operating system I thought would be best in this corporate scenario. Overall, that's why I chose Ubuntu, specifically the 22.04 version for this corporation. Thank you for listening.